What guest was the most fun off camera on Headbangers Ball?
The guest that was the most fun off camera was the most fun on camera. Everybody knows the best band to ever be on Headbangers Ball, and the band that has the most popular shows was always Alice in Chains. Always. I mean, those shows, of course, I love Lemmy.
Yeah.
And of course, Lemmy was always fun on camera. Lemmy was always fun off camera. Lemmy has always been a very important part of my life, from my barbecues at my house to always being there and helping with everything that I ever did. To the point that my shows, I mean, the guy that I turn to now to help me with my spoken word shows is Todd Singerman, who's Motorhead's manager.
Right. Wow.
You know? Yeah. So that's a band that's always been a very important part of my life. And many times, like I've seen interviews that I did with Duff that are just terrible, because when I'm, these are people that I'm hanging out with all the time. Then we get on camera and it's weird. And even stuff with, like, I remember Steve Jones, who most people know from the Sex Pistols, but Steve Jones also was a rock and roll guy, and he had a record, and he was on Headbangers Ball with me before I was even the host. I was like a man on the street, and the Steve Jones thing was just terrible. Even though this is a guy that I talk to all the time, all of a sudden it's kind of weird. And a lot of people were like that, but Alice in Chains were always great. Pantera were always great, because Pantera was a band that I talked to off camera, and Pantera was a band that was really like the rock and roll band for the fans. Like, you really couldn't say that Dimebag and Vinny and Phil and all of them were that much different than the people that were at their shows, Right. Yeah. I mean, those were the bands that I really thought were great on camera and off camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, we said we were going to keep you for an hour, and I'll keep going if you're willing to hang with us.
A couple more minutes.
Okay.
All I have to do is I leave for my tour in a couple of days, and I need to write my show.
Whoops. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Tell me, I wanted to know if you have any Izzy Stradlin stories.
I do.
Okay, because he's obviously a recluse, but if anyone was in the scene and was close enough to have some Izzy stories, it might be you. So share one if you would.
Well, Izzy, I met way before I met Tammy or anybody. Izzy used to go out with this girl named Angela that ended up, I think, marrying Andy McCoy from Hanoi Rocks. And
Imagine that.
I was DJing. Yeah. I was DJing this club in the Valley, and I was a club DJ. Meant that I played dance music. I played George Clinton. I played Duran Duran. I played Frankie Goes to Hollywood, whatever. And that's what I did for a living. I used to drink and sit in the DJ booth. And I remember being in the DJ booth and Angela coming up and saying, "Hey, can my boyfriend hang out with you? Because you guys like the same kind of music." I'm like, okay. So Izzy came up, and Izzy hung out in the DJ booth with me, and we just played. And he was just starting Hollywood Rose. I think it was Hollywood Rose or whatever it was. And me and Izzy became friends just through that, before there was even Guns N' Roses. And then later in life, when I was drinking a lot, Izzy and I remember this. I went with Izzy to go see Rat play, and the opening band. And I told Izzy, I said, "See this band?" I go, "The singer is going to be as big as George Michael's," and the singer was Bon Jovi.
Oh, wow!
I saw Bon Jovi open for Rat, and then I remember Izzy and I went to this strip bar, and it was a strip bar that had women dancing for women. And it was a gay women's strip bar. And because I was the guy that owned the Cathouse, I could go wherever I wanted. So I remember me and Izzy sitting in this bar, and we used to hang out at this bar, and we were the only guys there, but the women wouldn't talk to you because they had no interest in you whatsoever. But I remember going to that bar and liking it, and then talking to the owner. And I ended up opening up my second club there, Bordello. And that's where I ended up having the club Bordello, which was another club that I ran that was really fun. And so, have I talked to Izzy since he left Guns N' Roses? No. but I've heard his solo records and they're great. And I saw Izzy I didn't talk to him, but I saw him when he got up on stage with the Chinese Democracy Guns N' Roses. And I just felt like he was lost up there, and it really bummed me out because I think Izzy's so cool, you know. Yeah. I haven't heard from Izzy, and I wish I had because I like him a lot, and his solo stuff and what he's done is really, really good. But yeah, Izzy's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain because he's one of those people that nobody seems to know much about, and anyone that's got any inside information is always, I always want to hear it because I'm a big Izzy fan. A lot of people are, just for all the reasons you just said. So, tell us about Lemmy. You talked about Lemmy. What about? I'm just going to drop a couple names, and you just tell me a story about him or a memory about him. Sebastian Bach.
Okay, so I was okay. That's what I'll do. I'll tell you stories that I'm not going to tell in my spoken word.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way, if anybody wants to go to my show, Cleveland, Columbus, Buffalo, Sellersville, Pennsylvania, and Flint, Michigan, just go to cathousehollywood.com to get tickets.
Perfect. Okay.
So there you go. It's really going to be fun. So one of the last times I saw Sebastian, I was at a UFC party in Hollywood, and I was sitting down. And there was this guy, and I wish I could remember what band he sang for. But this is the reason I'll tell this story and not a story about Sebastian that I might tell in my show is because I think this is a hilarious story. This was probably maybe 3 years ago. And there was this guy that's like the singer in this band. He was just really obnoxious, and he was going up and he was like kicking people in the back or doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, he said something to Sebastian, and I don't remember what it was, but it was at that moment that I realized Sebastian's big. Like, all the time that I knew Sebastian, and I like Sebastian. I've always liked Sebastian. I think he's a great front man, but I never thought like, dude, Sebastian's a big dude. Like, I never thought about that part. Sebastian picked this dude up, threw him on the freaking ground, held him down, and was just saying something like, "Oh, are you funny now?" And would smack him in the face. He goes, "Yeah, you happy now?" And the guy tried, and Sebastian was holding him down and just smacking him. And I'm sitting on the couch, and Sebastian's doing it right in front of me, and I'm walking. And I never thought Sebastian would be a badass ever in my life. And I was watching him just holding this guy down, like saying, "Oh, do you think you're funny now?" Smack. "Oh, you think you're a funny guy now?" Smack. And just and bitch slapping this dude. And I'm sitting right in front of him. And it was at that moment, and I got to bring that up to Sebastian because I don't even remember if he remembers that or not. But just sitting there watching that, I mean, these are the things that just happen. And I mean, it was like this far from me. I'm sitting on a couch, and it's happening right in front of me. I'm like, that was awesome.
Who was the guy? You said
I got to remember. He was some singer in some stupid band. I don't remember who it was. Like some rap metal band or something.